All right, what's up, Lamb Squad? You have the first ever podcast. I don't really know what it's called. We didn't discuss that, but
First ever. There have been zero podcasts before this.
That's a
yeah,
fact.
We're inventing the podcast right now as we speak.
Make it be known.
yeah, yeah. This is the first podcast.
Anyone else who is making a podcast these days are just posers. They stole it from us.
They
Yeah,
copied us.
we're imitating
Should
the
we sue
Fine
them?
Bros.
DMCA, takedown.
Let's copyright the word podcast.
Yep,
Oh,
cool
I'm
Fine
down.
Bros.
Exactly.
I wonder if people have tried that, like, just copywriting words like podcast. All right. Well, I am your host, Lamb Squad. These are your other hosts.
Flurry.
I'm Major Tom.
We've got Major Tom. We've also got Flurry Fox, aka Flurry, his real name.
Yes.
All right, so we got all this topics. Anything before we start going through these topics? Anything you guys would like to say?
I'm intrigued to have a delightful conversation.
I think we should pursue the podcast copyright.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. I'll be sure to do that right after the first podcast.
Okay.
Then we can pursue the podcast copyright.
Get some good legal fame.
All right, so High Guardian Spice. You guys watched the trailer. What do you guys think?
Well, I say we start with the quick premise of the trailer for those that are inclined to know what it is already.
Okay.
You want to start off on that? And
Yeah, so basically Crunchyroll is making their own anime. It's called High Guardian Spice. It's about four girls who are going to a magical school in a magic city, and that's really all we get of the anime. Then the rest of the trailer, they start talking about how they're really excited for it, how it's going to be warm, fun, adventurous. They talk about how it's super diverse, but also the writing room is 100% women. And then they just say a bunch of other bullshit like that.
Yes. I forget if it was 100% woman, but they did state that it was at least 50%, I believe, and they try to market towards that number.
Yeah.
So they're very diverse and equitable in their diverse interactions with one another and what their jobs and roles are in their community there. But on that aspect, I find it very similar to how Justin Trudeau of Canada is trying to comprise his board of members. I forget their equivalent over there in Canada, but he basically stated that he's going to go split 50-50 on the gender side. So, half members are going to be male, half are going to be female, without a doubt. It's despite, the qualifications per se of each candidate, it's going to be more limited to that particular pool by half now for each gender.
Yeah.
So it's causing some upstir there, and a lot of people disliking that. But I think it's very prevalent in this case. What do you have to say, Tom?
Well, so if we're gonna talk about the whole gender thing, I mean, you could technically list gender as a specification, considering especially if you're talking about like Canada, right? And in government, you're representing a society, and half of the society is female, so you need to have a strong female representation, right?
Correct.
And I understand that people get upset about like, oh well, these people haven't had that much with experience in these subjects or in government, right? And that makes sense too. But at some point, you're going to have to make some concessions in order to allow more females to be in government. I don't know if specifically going for 50-50 is necessarily the best idea, but I like the idea that they're trying. But in this case, it seems like they're trying too hard just to please the SJWs, really.
For the trailer?
Well, in general.
Okay.
I want to say this about the trailer, right? I'd just like to point out, and I wrote this down, the very first line of this trailer is this. This show has a lot of heart that I don't think would have come through from any other studio.
Oh, I recall that. Yep.
I know that line very
Right off
well.
the bat, they're just like heavy-handed, like bam.
Yeah.
We have a lot of heart, okay?
We're
You
unique.
understand that? The other studios, they don't do this. Us, but we are going into this with a lot of heart.
Yeah. There's also another line where he's like, we're doing this 2D animation and we're gonna try things that other studios haven't done for a long time. Like they're
Right.
making it sound like they're gonna break boundaries. They make it sound like they're gonna like rewrite the game.
I mean, to be fair,
like
there aren't any other animes that have come out in the past 10 years that were 2D, so
yeah.
True. I guess they have been becoming less and less. So that's
they're all 3D.
specific qualification now. That narrows their confines.
Yeah, but it make it sound like they're going to like to change the game and they're gonna come out with something that just has never seen before.
My main problem with it is like, that's all well and good, but if they could list exactly how they're changing things, then it would make sense. But they're just all this trailer is a bunch of seemingly positive statements that ultimately tell us absolutely nothing about the anime.
Yeah, and what do we know about the anime? It's about magical girls that go to a magical school. That hasn't been done before.
Don't forget that.
Oh yeah,
They
and they
become
become
guardians.
Huh.
That was a one-sentence
I'm trying.
Don't ask.
I'm trying to think
Gonna
of.
become guardians.
I'm trying to think of other animes that that are just all female cast that go to a magic school. You know.
I don't think it's been done before.
I think
that
this is
innovation.
What's Winx?
No girls have ever been allowed into magical schools in
Yeah.
anime at this point.
What about Winx? I guess that's
Oh,
not
you got
considered
me.
anime.
Winx Club.
Yeah.
They're basically fairy
No.
guardians.
I mean,
but
like-
I will elaborate on that one piece you said, Tom. I'll echo that statement. They
I mean,
really
like-
didn't elaborate on how it would make a good difference or any difference in that matter. They just sort of
Well,
blatantly
I mean,
said it will make a difference.
Magic girls going to a magical school is literally a subgenre of anime. There is so much of it. Like there is so much of that. Like that's
I'm
not
actually
a
more
new
curious
thing.
as to what that even is as a genre, as an anime. Is it an action? Is it a mystery? Is it more of a day in the life? Is it more?
I don't know.
What
Just
is it?
imagine My
That's-
Hero just with
no,
all
that's
girls.
What it is, we don't know, and
Like-
that's why that's the information given in this at least production of this advertisement. A minute and a half, we get nothing really about the context about it except for like a quick 10-15 minute sentence or two. And that's not much about the content itself, more so about what they're doing. But then, like Tom elaborated, they're saying nothing about what it's doing really, but just that it's doing something good. Not how,
Also-
not why, not when.
I don't know.
Also, I just hate the style of the entire trailer, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
bunch of people sitting in front of a white background, just being like, "Oh, this anime is gonna be all good," right? While they have this like violin in the background, like, oh, what is this, an anime trailer, or is this a documentary about I don't know, like how something came about? Ah, man, I'm flailing on something. An example.
Yeah, they really needed to say anything more about the anime. Like, so I did you guys haven't seen it yet, but you guys will probably see it by tomorrow. So I did like a mock trailer where I tear this trailer apart. And one of my main things is like, they should have said anything about the characters. Like, they showed us 4 characters. If they would have given me the name for any one of them, like, I would be screaming about how I found a new waifu and just hyping it up. But I don't even have a name for these faces. So how am I supposed to make them my waifus if I don't even have a name?
Hey, Mason, you're missing the point. Okay, these are females. They're girls, right? You can't define them by name.
I guess you're right. I guess all you can define them by is that they're magical girls that go to a school, because that's the only important, notable thing about them, is that they're girls.
Exactly. Like, how
At least
dare
worth
you?
mentioning.
How dare you objectify them into a name like that?
Yeah, stop
I guess.
assuming.
I guess the only important thing about them is that they were written by women. But I guess that's really the only important thing about these girls is that the
I wish
writing
they
staff
elaborated that
is 100%
the
women.
diverse staff is very up and coming with their narrative.
I don't
and
even
it
know
really
how they
displays
can call
itself in the storyline. I wish they said that or something. And like,
I don't even know how they
because
can
of
call
our
the writing
diverse
staff
crew.
diverse when the writing staff is just all similar looking white women. Like, it's been beaten to death, but like
don't
you can't
see-
say
yeah.
diverse and just
I don't see
all
any
women.
black or Asian people in this trailer.
There's an old lady, so at least they're not ageist. At least they're varying ages, so that's good.
That's not true though. They don't have a 7-year-old.
I guess you're right. I mean, there's a one of the lead writers or one of the lead people on the team. Like, he's a boy. He looks like he could be a 7-year-old boy or girl. So I don't know. He looks very young.
That's true.
I remember.
He's probably not 7, but you know. I don't know.
Why do you think they released it? What do you think their target and goal was with the specific commercial? Do you think it was specifically to raise concern and like
It was-
ambivalence and causes fashion?
Drama
haywire?
and controversy is a way to increase popularity.
I'm sorry, but I figured out the diversity they're going for. All right,
Yes.
diversity in hair color. They have white hair, black hair, brown hair, blonde hair, red hair, blue hair, pink hair.
Okay. I'm down for that because the hair color is really all that matters in a person. So.
Right.
Maybe it's key signaling to the characters.
As a
what their hair
redhead,
will
I
be.
would say my red hair is
I'm
a
not
defining
talking about
feature
the
of me.
characters. I'm talking about the
But
staff.
yeah.
Oh, I know, but are the characters also like that by chance?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. A congruent theme then, I see.
Again, they said they had a diverse cast and a diverse set of characters, right?
Yeah. Like, I know they
It's
did.
the hair color. That's what it all comes
They
down
did
to.
show some of the characters, and some of the characters looked like they could be a little special when it comes to like gender identity. So like that's cool, but why didn't you fucking say it? There are very few anime or manga right now that cover gender identity issues. Like, not everyone would be interested, but if you have a really good anime that also covers gender identity, people aren't gonna hate it, or rational people aren't gonna hate it just because one of the topics it covers is gender identity. So I feel like
Yeah.
if they would have thrown that in there, like, I don't know, talk about your fucking show, like they sort
Yeah,
of
that
hinted
theme's
at it, but not
surprisingly-
really.
That theme's surprisingly undershown throughout anime.
Yeah, like
whatsoever.
what is it? Orion High School Host Club. The main character is a cross-dresser. Like, I think that's as close as we have to a mainstream anime covering gender issues.
So the description, right? I'm reading it. I just like how it it says the last line is, and discover their true identities while preparing to protect the world from an ominous unknown threat, which really describes the entire trailer, because we have no idea about their identities
That's
and
true.
not even a little bit of a clue about this supposed ominous threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's their grades, their midterm. It's due.
They summed it up well. I gotta give that to them.
Well, I have to say, I think their intent was to mainly appeal to an audience of diversity and show that their intent behind things are more than just what meets the eye, perhaps, but also maybe to add a little flair and gain some attention in the media, because they know that this topic is very sensitive in today's communication.
I think they knew that every YouTuber that wanted to cover a trending topic would cover this topic. They knew it'd become a trending topic because they're SJWing out the wazoo it. And like they're one of the biggest anime distribution companies that are making their own anime that's just full of SJWs. Like, they knew that some people weren't going to like this because people hate SJWs. So people are going to talk about it, and when it comes out in a year, people are going to remember what it is. People are going to look into it. It's going to have so much more going for it in popularity because of this controversy.
And that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Is this trailer self-aware, or are these people just so stuck up their SJW asses that they could not comprehend how this was going to play out?
I think it was self-aware. I really do. I think they knew how bad this was. I don't think that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's a
don't
tough one.
think.
I could see that being the case, but like the way these people talk,
I don't think the actors were self-aware. I think they were like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be really good," but I think whoever compiled it knew that this wasn't going to be a hit. I think that they knew it was going to be controversial. The people that were talking in it probably thought that, "Oh, this is going to be such a good trailer."
I just hate too that like rather than showing anything about the anime, it just shows like pictures of them or
It's like did they
just
even
animating
do it yet?
Just like vague pictures you really can't make out, and he's like looking at a script while he's doing it. Like, what? This doesn't help. Like, okay, you're trying to pose yourself as unique in something that hasn't been done before, or at least you're
When
like
they haven't even done it yet.
before. Animation has been done before. Scripts have been done before. Why are you showing that aspect?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt any of their intentions whatsoever because I can believe the stupidity. I can believe the outreaching grasp of attention. I wouldn't put it past them either way.
No, I think that some people that edited this knew this was gonna be like the dankest of memes and didn't really care.
So aren't we necessarily playing into their hands then
We
by
definitely are,
The
but
thing is, memes aren't as predictable
mutual
as people
benefits?
think. You remember there, like a while ago, there was that one like it was some like esports event I want to say, and the like spokesman was like, "Let's make a meme out of this," right?
I don't
And the
remember
meme
that.
became like making a meme out of something. It just I don't think memes are as easy to predict as people they think they are. And while like I see what you're saying, I think it's just hits such a perfect level of triggeringness. If that's a word, it's a word now. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect level of triggeringness. That
Define.
it just like it feels like it has to be genuine.
You don't think
Otherwise,
it's
it wouldn't trigger
calculated?
people so much.
You don't think it was calculated?
I think no, I don't. I don't think it is. I've watched through it a few times as we've been talking about it,
Yeah.
been skipping around, and I don't think that it's.
It
See,
seems very
so
intentful.
so
Straight to the
what I
point.
did was when I made my video, I repeated some of the lines that they said to like match up with them. And I like after saying some of the lines that they say, like I don't know, like I couldn't imagine myself ever actually saying those lines.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Like
remember back in college, I took this one like film appreciation class, and this video reminds me specifically about one like video that we watched. It was about the heroic journey or whatever,
yeah,
right? The classic heroic journey, and
Okay.
it was in the exact same style where people are just sitting in front of a white background saying all these positive things like and
That
then a
don't really
dragon comes and the dragon can take the form of anything blah blah blah, right?
yeah,
And just say it again and again, and it's exactly the same where that video was definitely made purposely, but like you break down the exact things they were saying and no one would actually say that unless it was completely scripted by
Yeah.
people who were just their heads were too stuck up their own ass to understand how people would view it when it finally came out.
that might be what. Yeah, that might be what this is. It must be a bunch of girls that are just too excited to work on this project that has only women on it, and they don't understand how shitty they're making it because they're just so proud that it's just them.
And I also feel like I don't know. I'd like to hear what he has to say here.
I just would have, obviously, like we all said, I agreed and loved to have more content shown and just actual understanding of the anime itself. But more so to the point of just, it is a little overdone.
You know what?
I think they were very much intentful with a message. And you notice how sometimes you do it and a lot of places try to have that positive, whatever, like, buy from us, we'll always make you happy.
Yeah.
And sometimes they come off as a little cringy. I think this is perhaps one of those instances where they're trying to add on to the diversity factor and sort of just, two wrongs don't make it right.
That is a reason why it's a good anime. Because it's diverse, right?
Apparently, it's what they're saying, or at least because the creation of it, maybe not even
Because
the
they all have
concept
different
of it
colored
itself.
hair.
Yes, that's
That's what
part
makes
of the
it good
diversity, I'd imagine.
Like, I don't know. I feel like they
You know
could have
what?
just.
Alright, I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
Sorry, Mason.
Go.
But you know what would ultimately win me over is if when this anime came out, it was actually just like these girls just sitting around talking about how diverse their group is and like how awesome that their school is because it's so diverse. This is the whole time. Like everything that's in this trailer is actually what the anime is about, and we were wrong this entire time.
It's about them liking warm things and adventurous things. They just talk about how they like adventure.
Yeah, and how they like 2D animation that has never been done before.
Oh yeah, like
At the end, they talk about Crunchyroll and how great Crunchyroll was.
it's
for
just a huge
greenlighting the anime.
advertisement for Crunchyroll.
They're
See,
clearly
if it was
trying to
that
say something.
level of meta, I don't know. I would be probably my favorite show of all time.
So Crunchyroll actually released an apology about this.
Really?
Yeah, I think the main thing was that people were worried that they spend a bunch of the main thing was people were criticizing that they spend a bunch of money on this shitty anime when they could be like doing something else, and they were like, no, like the money is I don't remember exactly what it is, but they issued like an apology but didn't like say
I'll look it
sorry
up.
for being diverse. It was a really shitty apology. And then they're like, one of the main criticisms is about how Crunchyroll still uses Flash. And that was something that Digibro like said. Like, Digibro did a whole video about how Crunchyroll sucks, and one of his main points was that it still uses Flash and not even well. And that was like half of their apology was like, we're using HTML soon. Just give us like a little bit.
Huh. At least they're upgrading.
All right. Well, I think you said pretty much all that's to be said about this, so
Yeah.
we should move on.
Oh yes.
All right. So next up we have you guys have any opinions on John McCain?
F.
F is right.
Yes, F. And I mentioned this when we were talking about topics originally, but I'll say it again for the viewers, of which there are plenty.
Thousands. There are dozens of them.
Probably, I haven't been alive close to as long as John McCain has. So like I can't say too much about him. I know that he was a veteran and prisoner of war and blah blah blah, which it's cool and all, sure. But to me, the thing that will always stand out, and probably to many other people of our generation that will stand out, was the moment when he was really the main reason that Obamacare did not get repealed. Because at the end of the day, it came down to one vote, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like he could have been telling people like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote no," right? But he didn't do that. He waited until it was his time to go up and cast a vote. It was just like, nah. And bam! Everyone was gasping like, "Holy shit! Did he just do that?" And I gotta say, like, if I had brain cancer, I'd probably say, you know what? I understand why people want healthcare. So
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, if nothing else, I gotta commend him for that. I mean, I'm for Obamacare, but even if I was against Obamacare, I'd have to say that he like totally stood up for his principle or like what he truly felt was right at that moment. I mean, the fact that he was, heading towards terminal illness at the time was possibly a factor, but I don't know. I still commend him for it.
Lots of factors, no doubt.
Yeah,
Very, very badass.
that's an amazing story. I don't know. I just remember, didn't he wasn't he running against Obama in the 2008 campaign? I think,
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
that I remember that campaign was kind of like a respectable campaign, and so were both of Obama's campaigns. I just remember John McCain. He was always very polite, and he was always very. He didn't want people to attack Obama for being Obama. He wanted to attack Obama for not agreeing with the policies he agreed with. Like even though,
Yeah. Yeah,
even though they were
Obama gave a
enemies.
really good.
Yeah.
I want to look it up.
Eulogy?
Yeah, I know. It was a really good. I read it, and like I remember there was
I gotta
one like
glance at it.
meme where some people were talking to John McCain about Obama being a terrorist, and John McCain was like, Obama is a lot of things. We might not share the same views on policies, but he's a good family man. He's not a terrorist. Even though you don't want him to win, you should still respect him because he was a respectable man. And that's when when I saw that, I gained a lot of respect for this guy, even though I wasn't a fan of the Republican Party at the time.
Uh huh.
Yeah, they
and
were
I'm
very
still
commendable
not.
to each other. They had a very nice respect for each other, very civilized. They respected each other's person and themselves as an individual,
Yeah, it was
and
much.
separated their views from them, and understood that we each want the best for the country or whatever part maybe outside the country as well.
Like it was so respectable where like I don't think Republicans and Democrats hated each other back in 2010 like as much as they do now because of just how hostile the last election was.
Yeah.
Like
Very.
maybe I don't remember
Not
it right.
just the last election, the last like couple of years. I mean, our president is every day like just goes on to Twitter and attacks people.
Yeah.
And not
He
just
doesn't
people
make it
from
easy for
the
himself.
Democratic Party, but like even his own party. Right now, he's attacking Jeff Sessions, right?
Yeah.
And so of course it's going to become
So-
more divisive. Our country's going to
Yeah.
become more divisive. I did post a Onion tweet onto our chat.
Yeah.
Just want to know what you guys thought of it, because apparently there's an outcry of people being offended by it. For viewers, it's a picture of Meghan McCain. It says, Meghan McCain forced to live out socialist nightmare of empathy for sick person. And this was before McCain died, but right after it was announced that he was no longer, seeking out treatment for his condition.
Yeah.
For his cancer.
He stopped seeking out treatment like days before he died.
Yeah.
Okay, that really
Like,
shows how
2
bad
days?
it was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's
It's the kind of
Context.
post that doesn't live up well now that he's dead. It definitely comes off as insensitive.
Yeah.
Although
it's-
the Onion
it-
isn't there to be sensitive, it's there to poke fun.
Yeah. If they would have posted it
Definitely-
any later, it would have been bad.
It definitely is one of their more edgy
Yeah.
posts,
Like,
but I do
Like
still
they-
kind of find it funny.
if they delete it, I wouldn't be surprised. They would have already deleted it by now, though.
Yeah, it came out Friday.
Yeah. It came out
Oh,
Friday,
wow.
and the news that he passed was like last night, right?
That was
Yeah.
super recent then. That was right before it too.
Yeah, it was like right after the news broke that he stopped.
Taking treatment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this was definitely one of their edgy ones, especially since it was John McCain.
Rip.
Socialist? No, you think?
Right? Like, I get why people are offended, although I dislike that people are getting offended on the behalf of Meghan McCain or, his family.
Yeah,
I don't like it when people get offended for other people.
yeah,
They're welcome to say that it's tasteless, but, like, to be like, oh, this is so offensive. Like, to be, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just still at the end of the day, it's funny. Because in a way, it just when she goes out and says that she's against things like Obamacare, and then I don't know, they found a way to make a funny joke out of a really shitty situation,
Yeah.
even if it was a bit insensitive.
It takes some good humor to do that, I think. But it's definitely the risky humor. But that's also what makes it so good.
Yeah.
Is the fact that it's very topical.
Like, if I were her, I still would have found it funny, but, like, I understand why a lot of people wouldn't have in her position.
Oh, understandably. To each their own.
I just like that's
Right.
that's the goal, is to get to the level where people like The Onion make satirical articles about you. I hope the Onion will one day make articles about me.
About the
Satirical articles.
podcast.
I hope everybody makes an article about you, but it's not just the Onion.
Like, you also want like Clickhole to make an article about me?
Like, I want iFunny to make an article about you.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Alright, I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah, alright. The next topic we have is how do we record? So, if anyone cares, currently we're just recording on my OBS. And that's why you'll hear random notification sounds that I couldn't turn off. And just random other shit that happens. I think in the future I want everyone to record themselves and then send me the audio file, but some people here are too lazy to do that. So
that's me. I'm the one that's too lazy. I single-handedly am the reason that this did not happen.
yeah.
I am also
at the
lazy,
time
but
that
might
this
have done
was-
it.
At the time that this was proposed, I was playing a game. I've
Yeah.
also been drinking, if you guys couldn't tell.
I mean,
And
ooh,
I
should
can smell it.
should I-
it all just, yeah, exactly. It really emanates through the mic.
I want
it
to
all
drink a little more.
Summed up to me not feeling like dealing with that shit.
Like
so-
opening literally any recording software you have.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, it might not be as convenient for you, but I have like Audacity, OBS, or I have a bunch of stuff just ready to go. So I don't know how it is for you.
Yeah, I would have
but-
had to download something because I don't have anything on this computer.
I mean, there's also like just Windows like microphone recorder.
Right.
But that's also not the
Uh.
best. Like, you want to use something that will actually like save if it crashes, and Audacity does that. I don't know if the microphone recorder will do that.
I say we do a podcast with the three of us within the same room, but we're all divided within a weird cubicle. We each get our third corner of it, and the camera's above us
Alright.
in a bird's eye position. And
Well-
all we can see, or all they can see, is the top of our heads.
I
That's-
say
talking.
we hire voice actors who also understand what is that? The language where it's like dots and dashes.
Yeah.
Morse code?
Morse
Yeah.
code, that's it. Like we send Morse code messages to them, have to interpret them in real time.
I feel like that's a way we can know how drunk you are, is that you don't remember what Morse code is.
I think he's at currently 0.04. No.
Let me see.
BAC?
Well,
I would not drive at this point.
Yes.
yeah,
put it that
let me do some shots of Jaeger. Did you guys know Jaeger? So Jaeger and Monster is good, right? And Jaeger and Red Bull is good. But Jaeger and G Fuel is not good at all. It is very bad.
This is not a topic that we chose to discuss, so I would like to ask you to end this right
Are
now.
you playing
The
your
point
veto
is,
card?
right now, is I have Jaeger that I'm gonna drink. That's the main. But I have no monster.
You can only drink when we get
All right.
donations.
All right. So, oh yeah, we've gotten a few donations before, and by that I mean some of us slipped up and said things we shouldn't have. So that's we just happened to get donations at those exact moments somehow.
Donations.
It was crazy.
So on to the next topic.
All right, are we gonna talk about the shooting that
The
just
shooting.
happened?
I think we may as well just mention something. Personally, I saw the clip. It was originally aired on Twitch, I believe. I think they were live at the time.
Yeah.
I saw it through Tommy C's SFTP, or Shot from the Point.
Good channel.
He just had like a 1.5 minute video where he just said what happened and then aired the clip, and was not monetized for obvious reasons. And I gotta say, it was pretty disturbing hearing those screams.
Yeah.
Like, you hear about all these mass shootings going on, but I haven't actually seen or heard, like,
It was the
recordings.
closest we have to footage of an actual mass shooting.
Right.
Except for, I think there was footage of Columbine, but I don't think there was any audio. I could be wrong. I know there was footage of some of it, and I think this is...
I'm sure there's been footage of shootings. It's just I haven't witnessed it. So it was, it was fucked up. And
yeah, my wishes for all the families of the victims and the victims that...
So the natural progression of the story is to talk about gun control.
I think the natural progression...
I think we can move on.
Is to tell... I saw a meme that's like, we found the identity of the shooter, and it was just Ice Poseidon holding a gun. It was a good meme.
Ice Poseidon, definitely very ice.
I could see Ice Poseidon one day going crazy and just...
He'd be the guy that starts humping light poles at the random time of the night and gets put on somebody's live stream on Facebook.
Alright, well, I thought the Ice Poseidon memes were kind of good. But I also found them on 4chan, so I'm not sure how appropriate they are to actually share on places that aren't 4chan.
But yes, about the shooting, very tragic, and I think it's really... I mean, without talking about gun control, I think security at events, it's just how do you maintain that? I mean, so many of these are very common, frequent, and local. The type of money invested in these tournaments are already fair and minimum to begin with. The aspect of security is going to be very small, if any. But then it's still very easy to sneak such items and anything else, really. People out or in, for that matter.
I feel like it's gonna definitely start conversations and actions taken towards security, and not just esports events, but like even all sorts of conventions and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like this is because like all the other shootings for the most part have been like someone going to a church or whatnot, or school, right? And like we've grown accustomed to that, but we haven't yet had this kind of a shooting. So now I think it's gonna really start getting to people in terms of security.
Well, exactly.
So you might have to be checked more often.
Exactly what you're talking about. Kern was over and he told me that the Big House, the Smash tournament, Big House 8 actually upped their ticket prices, $20 for everyone, because of the news today. They're getting extra security. It is a tournament in Detroit, but still, like, this is a tournament. Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, nice. That's one more thing I gotta say. Surprised it happened at a Madden tournament. If it happened at a Melee tournament, I would have been like, all right, this is bound to happen. But at a Madden tournament,
it's so random.
You know, I know people who play Madden. I just don't know anyone who takes it that seriously, or I've never taken them as people who would possibly want to just go out and shoot people, right?
Yeah.
But like Melee people, I'm surprised that there haven't been more Melee shootings in the past year, to be honest. from based off the people I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna be right back. I'll be listening. You guys can still talk.
Well, to add on to the conversation of upping the prices, I think it's
We can definitely still hear you. Yes, we can still hear you.
awkward.
Lol. So, that was nice. Curran, surprise guest. Not even he knew he was going to be a guest.
That's a surprise, all right.
So, Flurry, if you were to go on a mass shooting, what gun would you use?
The best and biggest water gun there is, because the only shooting I go on is for summer fun.
That
4th of July.
that is a
Celebrate
very
a
politically
very
correct
honorable
response.
Country that
I
is the US of A.
gotta say, you really took that question and flipped it on its head better than it could possibly be flipped.
Yes, but if they're out of the water guns, I would
But
prefer
what
the
kind
D5
of
for
gun? A
quick
super
assault.
soaker specifically, or some sort of off-brand super soaker?
Definitely off-brand, because that way people can less know my weapon of choice. It'd be
It's
more
harder to
strategic.
track, right?
Yeah.
There's
I
probably
mean,
like a
it's
national
just you're not going to
registry
be
for all
seeing a big
the
Nerf sign on it.
right.
More concealed.
A 3D printed one, maybe.
Oh, definitely
Topical.
cheaper for mass production. But 3D printers are getting crazy. They are, some may say, whack. Very whack. I think
Would you dual wield?
All right. What's up?
if I could afford.
I feel like I missed something good, but you know.
Yeah, we were just talking about shooting people up.
Oh,
So.
that's not good.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
I think we could
it was
move
horrible.
on.
Yeah. All right. So the KSI fight. Do you guys have anything to say about the KSI fight? KSI Logan Paul fight?
I think
I have lots of things to say about this.
I did not watch or listen to it at all. I checked my phone to see who won at the end. Was very disappointed at the result. Like,
Oh my
it's the
God.
kind of result which, for the record, it was a tie for anyone.
Yeah, it was a
who didn't
draw.
know.
Spoiler
It's
alert.
the kind of
majority draw.
result that, like, had you been watching, could have been epic. But if you're someone who just wanted to see the end result, could not have been any worse.
It was like
Even like a total one-side domination would have been better than that shit.
yeah, it was actually kind of fun to watch because Logan Paul like destroyed KSI the first 2 rounds. The 3rd round, like KSI was kind of winning. The 4th round, Logan Paul came back, but you could tell Logan Paul just like spent it all in the 4th round, and KSI dominated in the 5th and 6th round. A few things to note is KSI did play very dirty because he actually went for punches after the bell rang. I'm not sure if they subtracted points for that or not, but they should have. And if some of the reason why they had the same number of points was penalties from those after the bell attacks, then you know I could see it being a draw, because on 2 occasions, I think it was in the 3rd round and definitely the 6th round, the bell had rung and KSI just went for a cheap shot. So
are you saying that the fact that KSI beat him up so badly barely equal out the fact that he made a couple cheap shots?
I think KSI definitely did a little better than Logan, but if you added in the penalties from cheap shots, I think it would make sense that it's a draw. Because I think the cheap shots should count against him. And if you count against someone who is doing like better, I think it evens out to be a draw.
Interesting.
But yeah, watching it was good. It didn't look fake. It did look like they were doing really well. I don't know. It could have been scripted. It could have just been something that happened. But I want to see what the statistic is for how often draws happen in professional boxing matches. Because if draws are super rare, then this has to be scripted.
Well,
but if
out of all the boxing matches I've ever seen, there's never been a draw. Which, by the way, was one. It was the Manny Pacquiao versus
Classic.
Floyd Mayweather fight. So
what about that's
very
the only
much of
one
a
you've
letdown.
watched?
yes, it's the only one I've watched.
Or is
That's
that was
more
that a
than
draw?
me.
Or is that a not
No,
a draw?
it was not a draw.
So you're not being ironic when you say it was the only one you watched?
No,
No,
I'm
he
not.
is.
Oh.
I was joking when I pretended to be an authority on the subject.
Oh,
I know.
I knew
Yeah,
there
when
was some
I
ironic.
clarified, I was not joking.
Okay.
I hear when you explain jokes,
Yeah.
it makes it twice as funny.
I don't know. Well, even if the Logan Paul Jake Paul fight or the Logan Paul KSI fight was fake, the KSI or the Jake Paul Deji fight was definitely not, because Deji like fucking broke Jake Paul's nose and it was just bleeding, and there's no way Jake Paul would ever had allowed that to be in the script.
How do you know they didn't just like give him
Fake blood, you know.
sort of like
you
a
got me.
blood packet, right?
You got me, dude. You got me.
Bam. And that's how they convince you that it's real.
Because I don't think Jake Paul would like ever go that far. He doesn't seem like the guy that would go that far. He doesn't
Tom,
want
I
blood.
think if you said that with a Todd Jones accent, that would have been much more believable as a conspiracy.
You mean
Or whatever his name is.
Todd
Alex
Jones.
Todd Jones. Yes, God forbid. Never do
Seems
Todd
decent.
Jones accent.
So the Scarce fight was tough to watch. Scarce lost. He got beat up pretty bad. He held his own though. For a guy that just had lost 100 pounds in 6 months, it was really cool to see him get in the ring and not give up immediately. Like he lasted like 3 or 4 rounds up until the point where the ref had to come in and stop him because the Scarce just wasn't backing down. So it was good. It was a good watch. Hopefully Scarce fights in the next fight, and hopefully he can probably take a round or two against whoever he fights. But I don't know. I'm proud of my favorite YouTube news guy.
Well, I've said all I have to say about the subject, so unless Flurry has something to add, I think we should move
Flurry
on.
Fox.
I don't really watch either of their content, nor am I a fan of boxing. But I am gonna see, or just gonna assume that they're gonna go as much of a money grab as they possibly can. Especially since now that they could possibly do a rematch, they can do extra documentaries, which is now becoming another trend on YouTube and just overall within the internet. And I think they can even look back and do some type of collaboration or afterthought video, or even just more conferences prior to the next match if they have one. Is going to be reeling in so much more money and other controversy and more media appeal. It's going to keep on growing the disparity between news getting all the attention to these big primary candidates, such as Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and stealing it away from other smaller, potential, even better creators.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like I was taken for a fool because of the draw. Like I didn't pay for it, but still like I got invested. I'm probably gonna watch the next fight. No, it depends on who's undercard. If I care about the undercard fights, I'm definitely gonna watch. If I don't really care about the undercards, if I can find it easily, I'll watch. But I'm not gonna care about it because really, Scarce I think they really did get a whole new demographic just by adding Scarce in the fight. Because Scarce is like, I don't know. Scarce doesn't really have any bad blood with anyone reasonable. Like,
Scarce is boring.
Keemstar's not a fan. Idubbbz isn't the biggest fan. But, can't really hate the guy. He's a good guy.
Can you confirm your bias for Scarce?
Yes, there's a huge bias for Scarce. I love Scarce.
Bias for Scarce confirmed.
Can we use, can you just, when you go to edit this, can you just drop Scarce sound bites into the video?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Scarce here.
Scarce.
Come on, man.
Hell no, dude. I mean, come on. My favorite one.
Hey guys, it's Scarce here.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Scarce here.
Alright, so I think we're done talking about the fight. Does anyone have anything else to say?
Scripted.
There was one fight that, like, actually was, like, people that knew how to fight, and I watched that, and it was a pretty good fight. It was definitely the most real fight of them all, but for some reason it was fucking undercard.
Who?
I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. It was
Way to
good,
hype
though.
it up and leave
Yeah,
us
way to
hanging.
hype it up and blue ball you.
Bad way to end the topic.
All
Next
right.
topic.
Alright, so YouTube community, this was yours?
Sure.
Wasn't it about, like, there's a new feature that the YouTube is adding? Who was that? One of us? Was that the
Yes.
first? Okay.
I think it's worth mentioning. YouTube's trying to expand their community with their efforts. I think it's literally called the community tab
Yeah,
or
the
whatever
community
on
tab.
pages.
Right.
I'm really interested to see how social media sites in general, and specifically YouTube, can alter their conversation between comments to create a more of a cohesive community or interactive community.
Like the live streams.
For live streams or just
Yeah.
comments in general. Like on a video, this is a straight line of comments. The only thing
Right.
special about it, other than recency, is the top 2 or however many are top voted, right? What if they organize comments and you get the, what if there's a miscellaneous box of comments? There's one about questions to the reporter or the YouTuber,
That's a good idea.
comments about it, and then that way,
Yeah.
feedback or criticism. If the YouTuber wants to look back at the video, they can say, "Oh wow, these are comments specifically for
like,
feedback."
If
And
there
I
was,
can actually go somewhere to look at them.
like, if there was feedback, positive feedback, negative feedback, questions, if there was a tab for jokes, that would be so much better, because sometimes I'm just looking for good jokes. Sometimes I'm looking for
I think,
comments
to be
about
honest,
it. Sometimes
the
I'm looking for
person-
criticisms.
they should have default tabs per se, but you should also be able to edit a certain number of tabs either by number and name.
Yeah.
So you can, maybe feedback's not a mandated one, but you could add it.
Yeah, like,
Maybe
I make my
jokes aren't
default.
one, but you can add it.
Yeah.
For example, PewDiePie or Jax Films, when they do Lawai and Yai
Right.
respectively, they could do Yai comment, and then that'd be cool. Instead of
That'd be
having to
really
search
cool.
Control Find for the word or whatever.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
think
really
it's something
cool.
that's super easy to do. How easy is it to edit a
I
layout?
think it's just something that hasn't really been thought of. And
Yeah, it's just been
implemented
left to die. Like everything else about YouTube is
It's
basically
like
changed.
it's
But
people
except
joke
for
about
the comments.
people joke about the YouTube comment section being cancer, but I don't think anyone has really been like, oh, we need to fix this cancer, because it's like it's not something that's really important. Like the only people
It's-
that care about it are like some creators really
It's
care about
perhaps
YouTube
the least
comments.
touched aspect of the YouTube thing I've seen change over the
Yeah.
years than any other. And that includes the algorithm, videos, the way that ratings and subscriptions and
Yeah.
follows, and like even how subscriptions are now being clicked on, because you have to have the double notification in order to actually get notified when they submit videos, as opposed to being just subscribed to them and whatsoever. So I think it very much needed cleanup. Just re-looking at how it would better serve how common little intricacies of YouTube or other types of social media can better serve a component to the community or the users by making them more adjustable or laid out and spread out in a comforting dynamic.
See, I think that, and while that's all well and good, I think that they should, when they make that change, right, they should also make a setting that allows you to change back to the cancer comment section. And in fact, they optimize it to make it even more cancerous than it is now, right?
I think
That
they should.
if you want to just go right into the cancer, because like honestly, it can be fun to just go through a cancerous comment section,
Yeah.
You should be able to customize it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I think that would give creators a lot more, and the community behind the creator a lot more
specifically would
flexibility.
like an option that's just like literally labeled the cancer comment version,
As
right?
someone, as someone that makes videos and only gets about 5 comments per video, 4 out of the 5 are cancer, but they're all just so much fun to read.
Yeah.
Well, that was my take on it. That's what I wanted to add to the conversation. I think
I
it's
think
something that's
I
overlooked
think
frequently.
that Twitch and YouTube need to find a better way for comments on live streams, because I don't think that user participation in live streams is good for big streams right now. For
Yeah, well,
small
what's
streams,
the
it's
point?
fine. For
Unless you're donating a big amount and
For
we'll get
yeah,
back.
well YouTube has super chat. Like right now, if it's a small stream, like it's fine. If it's a big stream, it goes by too fast. Super chats do stay there. I don't know. I feel like Twitch also spams comments sometimes. I feel like it could be abused, but if you had comments that are spammed, just linger on the screen or the side or something, I feel like that could be abused. But I don't know. I feel like with moderation, I feel like there are ways you could tweak live stream chats to be a lot more engaging.
Yeah, I think. Most definitely.
Maybe you could vote up certain comments, so if like someone says something really important, people could upvote that comment. I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Good 2 cents.
Next topic?
Next topic.
Alright, how is RuneScape is successful, despite it being bad and outdated? Agree or disagree?
No. It's not a question. No. It's a statement.
How.
It is a question, but it's not a question
how.
about yes or no. It's a how question. How is RuneScape successful despite it being bad and outdated?
I think bad is subjective, but outdated is definitely an objective. Like, it's objectively an outdated game.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Whether it's good or
right.
bad is subjectively.
Technically, bad is a subjective term.
No, fuck. 100% is subjective. Like,
Technically.
Yeah. So how is RuneScape so successful despite it being outdated? Like,
And bad.
Like, music
Don't
can
forget
be outdated.
look.
No.
You can't just
Shut the
remove.
fuck up.
You can't remove words from the topic. Although you did kind of like write it wrong. You wrote how RuneScape is successful despite it bad and outdated.
I'm a few beers
Close
and
enough.
Jaegers in. Like,
Oh, shut up.
all right. I'll take the
Take
the
the L.
criticism. I'll take the L. So definitely is outdated. The music's outdated. The graphics are outdated. I did a quest the other day that was 16 years old, like 17 years old. It came out in 2001, and I'm just like, wow, this is a classic quest. It feels
Restless
new and
Ghost,
fresh.
Priest in Peril.
Witch's Potion.
Oh, classic.
It is a classic. It's actually a classic. It's a 17-year-old quest. But, they add new skills sometime, but when was the last new skill added to RuneScape 07?
Old school server, yet to have a skill added.
Yeah. I don't know about RuneScape 3, but people say RuneScape 3 is just fucking terrible because the evolution of combat really killed it. Which, I'll agree with. If I wanted to play WoW, I'd play WoW.
They are right. RuneScape 3, like its predecessors, is bad.
I mean, I don't even think it's an argument that RuneScape 07 is better than RuneScape 3. Like, we don't need to argue that, do we?
But it's subjective!
Actually, the communities between them
Yeah,
really
but I
hate
feel
each
like-
other.
I feel like subjectively we could all agree
Yeah,
that
you know
07 is
what-
better
you know
than
what,
RuneScape
Mason?
3.
I will gladly let you take that if you let me say that RuneScape is a bad game.
I would
I'm
let
not
you
saying
say it's an
that
outdated
you can't
game.
enjoy it, okay? You can enjoy bad things, right? That is totally fine. But that doesn't mean it's not bad.
How is it bad?
Oh, well, let's start
Get
here.
wrecked.
How is it good?
It's got good quests.
In what way?
Um,
What does it do that makes it good compared to other games with quests?
look.
Well, it has good humor, it has prolonged plot lines, so multiple quests in the same type of line that build off each other and reference into one another.
But
Historical
what way is it good
references.
compared to the average of other
Yeah.
games that do that kind of stuff?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how quests are.
As far as
Sub-quest
quests go,
dynamic. though.
not a bunch of quests make me laugh out loud, but some of the old RuneScape quests really do make me laugh out loud. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not playing the right games, but the one quest I did where the restless ghost, like, the ghost just woos and you try talking to the ghost and it just keeps speaking ghost, like, it was kind of funny when I was playing the game drunk.
I'll give you that. I'll concede that point.
Like, I think the
Yeah,
quests are
I'll
fun.
let you say that there is some good humor in it. Sure.
Okay.
There's a
I don't know if
sub-quest
that-
system, too.
There are definitely good parts about it, but there are definitely some bad parts about it too. Like the fact that
is subjective.
Technically, yes. That is subjective. What makes it bad may not be.
I definitely think that grinding can be good or bad, and the way RuneScape does it is bad because each level is like double the. It's like the experience of the next level is the same amount of the total experience you had. So like, or maybe that's not right, but basically,
No.
level 90 is halfway to 99. So by the time you get to like
It's 93.
Oh, 93. So by the time you get to level 93, it will take you months before you level up again. And I just think
No.
that's
Wow,
not
that
fun.
sounds like a really fun system to play.
No, that's very inaccurate, actually.
All right,
Months,
accurate.
It takes a week.
Oh, it takes a week. How long is the shortest amount of time anyone ever got from level 99 and anything to or level 99, level 98 to 99?
The shortest?
I don't think you understand how some of the experience works. In
Yeah,
RuneScape.
maybe I
Like,
don't. Do people
You
just
can
go?
set up, like, for example, prayer is a thing. It's
Okay.
a very hard thing.
So you're telling me you could go from
There's
98
an
prayer to
altar that
99
gives
in a
you
second?
300 experience, 300
Right.
times experience, basically, and there's a chance not to bury your bone. Now, you can repeatedly bury bones there at a rate of about, we'll say, 50 per minute, and you're
Okay.
getting about 200, no, you're getting about almost 300 if you're using the best bones, 300 experience per bone. And if you're doing about, we'll round it down to 45, no, even more, 40 a minute. 40 a minute, let's say.
Okay.
So 40 times 300, that's what, 12,000?
Okay. So if you
12,000
did
a
that,
minute. 12,000 a minute times 60. What is that? 600,000 an hour?
okay.
How much
What
is
do you
93
mean
to
to bury a
94?
bone?
What?
What does it mean to bury a bone? Like,
Click
It's
on it.
just you just click on the bone and you bury it, and then you gain prayer because apparently you
Yep.
get prayer by burying bones.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. I take back everything I said. Like,
So like
This
you could get a level,
RuneScape
like you could go
has
to 99 in a
the
day.
most interesting
from
leveling
93.
system that I have ever heard. Clicking on something repeatedly. Oh my god. Why have I been playing Warframe where you just you move around the entire time shooting things? But I could just be clicking.
Well, the thing is, you're gathering
Why
the
have I been
equipment.
playing? Why have I been
Alright,
playing
alright,
Ragnarok Online since basically way back when RuneScape came out, and just going around and at high levels having to kill Anubis, which would just if I let them get to me would just kill me in an instant.
All right.
Why would I want that kind of a challenge?
All
It's
right.
so much effort. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
All right.
You guys win the argument. You're right. You're right.
I wasn't trying to argue. I was just saying that the experience is
I
much
know.
faster than you think.
I'm
But
just
I will
trying to
also
make a
say,
point.
I'm actually curiously interested as to what you think makes it successful.
It's
Why
just,
do you think they're able to give out $50,000
Yeah.
like a month?
The grind. I just listed two games, Warframe and Ragnarok Online, that I have played and continue to play. I'm not really that. I play Ragnarok Online off and on, and honestly, Warframe 2, though I've played.
Warframe. We
More
have
bad
a
at
we have a
this
group
point,
of people
probably.
that play Warframe, so we go
Yeah.
back to it more.
Yeah. And both of those games ultimately just become a grind. So
Pokemon.
Ragnarok Online is closer to RuneScape in that it's an MMO RPG. Warframe isn't really an MMO. It's every map is instanced. You'll have like 4 people playing a mission at a time, right?
Yeah.
Did you say it's similar?
There are some
Yeah.
like 8-player missions, but like those are special. Anyway, and ultimately, grinding can be fun. Like mundane tasks in life can be fun if you, or not necessarily fun, but enjoyable at least. If you,
Satisfactory, meaningful.
yeah, you are happy with the results of them at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like
I agree.
so like in Ragnarok, it's a lot about. I was talking about like farming in Nubis, right? And I don't know how long you were saying it took to get to 98 to 99 in that game, but in Ragnarok, in the original rates, which I did not play, by the way,
About
it
4 or
took
5 hours. But yeah.
so long to get from 98 to 99. It was retarded. At which point you would rebirth and become level 1 again and have to go all the way back up to 99.
Yeah, they had the prestige system.
But like it wasn't really prestige. You would only rebirth
but the
once.
reset, yeah.
Yeah, but it was an achievement. Once you got there, it was a really big deal, and you felt like really good
Yeah.
about it. I actually played
completely.
rates that were 3 times the normal. Back when I was playing as younger, 3 times the normal base and job level, and 2 times the drop rate. I thought that those were more reasonable rates because turns out Korean RPGs are retarded in their leveling speeds.
They're very.
So I gotta say that's what I
harsh.
like about Ragnarok compared to RuneScape is that there were so many private servers and they were able to do so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only been a couple for
It's
RuneScape,
done.
unfortunately.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I can recognize the grind. It's just for me,
The grind.
Ragnarok was more fun because the grind it took a bit more challenge. And in Warframe, the grind is more fun because the movement is just a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
And plus, like the shooting isn't like that fantastic, but I think is a lot better than just clicking.
I can recognize the grind because when we played Payday 2 back when you could speedrun rats, I could speedrun rats like, I don't know, it took like 10 minutes to do the entire mission.
Yeah.
You could do like 6 an hour. I could do like 18 to 20 a day and not get bored of it just because I loved Payday so much. And we just did it to level. Nothing really, like, we had fun on the grind. Like, sometimes we'd blow up the bus, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we'd kill each other with grenades. But it was a grind because we just did the map so much. And I could recognize a good grind when it's fun because you're just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah. And social aspects can add to that because obviously, like, you know, Payday is an easy example where you're playing with other people. But even if you're doing the grind alone, just being able to go to your friend and be like, "Oh my god, I finally got to level 99 today in this one skill in RuneScape." Not that I know, because fuck
people
RuneScape.
have 99
But
parties.
I assume that is very nice to talk about.
Yeah,
like you say it in your clan chat, you get celebrated. People actually have like parties and like, you know, you get really close to leveling it up. You get like the easiest task to do, like
do people
the
just
easiest monster you kill, and then people like wait until you get it. They see your fireworks when you get the level up. That's how they know you get it, and then everybody else says like congrats, and you should see there's lots of videos of it. The social aspect of RuneScape is also, I think, why it's very successful.
So, Ian,
very nice community.
Of the RuneScape, like a group chat, who's got the most 99s out of everybody? Like, is that like a competition?
Oh, 99 specifically? Great question.
Do you not know?
I'm not sure.
Who has the
Major
highest?
Tom might, but
what?
Nah, never mind.
Do you know who has the most levels out of everyone?
Probably close to mcain or myself or Colton. That's honestly a tough one because
is there anyone else in that group chat besides
like,
Tyler?
Spread out levels, but like they all have very highly individualized levels.
Yeah, is anyone else in that group besides Tyler then?
Tyler's not really playing anymore.
Okay.
I think some people, 1 or 2 people may have 99s and like super easy. We call them easy skills or pointless skills.
Yeah.
They serve a functionality in like activities or questing or past a certain point or level, they're useless.
Okay.
And, like, people still get them to 99.
All right. So the main thing I want to say about RuneScape is that I think it does a lot of things bad, but I think the fact that I don't know, it got a community to play a mediocre game is pretty good. I also think the humor is really good. I think it does quests okay. And I think the staff is good sometimes. I don't know if they're good all the times, but I think it's a game that their staff really does care about their community. I could
Oh,
be
they
wrong.
have lots of really cool stuff. Yeah, everything's voted on. If it's not voted on, they don't
Yeah.
have it.
It's like they add a bunch of stuff. They're constantly updating it. Games where the staff is close to the community, like I've seen like mods and stuff comment on Reddit, and communities where the mods comment on Reddit are probably
They
the
tweet back. If you
best
tweet them a
games.
question, they'll answer you. Lots of
Yeah.
people understand the code better, and ironically, make private servers because
And
of it.
that's just a good sign of a good community, which I
Yeah,
think you're
and
talking
that's
about is a
also
good part
like
of
why
RuneScape,
they like it too.
social
It's that
aspect.
old friendship community bond
Uh-huh.
you get on it.
But I think
The
it's
grind, like you said, that aspect is not really fun.
I do think it's one of the best examples of a game that is a whole lot of not impressive game feats. Like, and nothing in RuneScape you could point to me and say, wow, whoever coded that or thought of that is amazing, because I don't think the game itself is impressive. I think the fact they built up the community is so big, I think that's what's impressive about it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's like a very few minor code things that are so simple that overlap, so weird with like the combat style that make it highly unique and weird.
Yeah,
Like the prayer system is very awkward. I don't know, it's very
Yeah.
complex, but I think it's very like neat how they made like the combat system or the prayer system fluctuating. Like normally it was intended just to be used as something that you turn on and like you fight a monster and you turn it off and you kill it. But now people like they literally flick it for a half second or millisecond or however long
really.
right before they attack, and like it still counts because there's really only a couple frames that it checks to see if the prayer is active in the game. And with the combat system, your damage is calculated right when your animation's about to hit, so you just wait for the animation to hit.
So
Cool.
people do it like frame perfect?
Yeah, and like
That's
they
pretty
don't
cool.
run out of prayer then, and like thus they don't.
That's
really need to worry
something.
about
That's something
refilling.
I can
And like that's like a
respect. If
weird
it is-
mechanic. Like, like they didn't intend that. It's like melee and like all the
Yeah.
tech from that essentially.
Yeah,
It just came out of
no,
nowhere.
if that's like actually how it works, that's actually a really cool thing that people like do. Like I kind of would respect a
Like,
player that can do
There's
that.
some
just
technical
for-
aspects. Really weird. Definitely makes it like more higher of a skill cap to some degree, but it's very, very basic still, nonetheless. Very, very.
Yeah. I
So
think
I just want to say I did have an argument with someone in our friend group.
my Mike
Yes, Mike.
buttons.
Yes, buttons.
Basically, one thing, and like we eventually kind of agreed, but like one thing I was trying to say is that there are some objective things you can note about the
Yeah.
game
That are bad.
that are bad. For example, the main thing we argued about,
Is the
or the main
graphics.
example we argued about, graphics. And I think you can say the graphics are objectively bad. Now, you can argue that aesthetically the graphics are good, but in terms of quality, they're bad. And I think you can say
They're
that
low
about a lot of things.
If
Like,
you're
you
saying
can
low quality is
objectively
bad,
say
then yes.
that the combat is simplistic, right? And for some people, that is a big turnoff. For some people, that's really nice.
Yeah.
There's still objective statements that you can say
Yeah.
along
And
those lines.
The graphics are poor,
Very true.
outdated, and you could say they're bad.
It's like Minecraft. Very successful.
Like
but
the
I mean,
graphics
people
aren't
enjoy it and like
intensive
it,
at
but it's
all.
not
Like,
the best.
Exactly.
um,
As long as we can agree Mike's wrong.
yeah, Mike's pretty wrong all the time.
Yeah.
All
Pretty
right.
all the
Do we have anything else to say about RuneScape, or are we done with this?
No, I think that's about
Yeah.
it.
I think games are fun.
I think we
Alright.
have to move on to the Holocaust was fake
Are we
question mark.
skipping anything for views?
I don't know what to say. I don't know. Like, I've heard of anything for views. I just don't know anything about them.
I just
Yeah.
like.
Who?
They do stuff.
The one thing I want to say
That
about
people
anything
like.
for views is that on
Anything.
Ice Poseidon's network, a bunch of people are getting kicked off because they're not active, and anything for views hasn't streamed in 2 weeks, but he's still on the network because he's paying for Paul's airplane trip to Australia to come hang out. So that's pretty funny how Paul is like super he'll kick people off that won't stream or even will stream, he just doesn't see the streams.
So here's the thing, Mason.
You don't care?
I don't care about Ice Poseidon.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
I
how
don't
he's
care about Ice
hypocritical.
Poseidon. I don't care about Ice Poseidon. I definitely do not care about Ice Poseidon. So
But
like,
he's so cool.
if anything, you had anything real to talk about, anything reviews, okay, I could have talked about it.
What about the
But then
time that
Ice
he got
Poseidon
banned from
is your main
Twitch?
thing. I don't care.
What about
I
the
don't
time
care
he got
about
banned
him.
from
I don't
Twitch?
care about his network. I don't care. Let's move on. The Holocaust was fake? ? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was not fake.
Yeah,
I will
think there
play
was
devil's
quite a bit
advocate
of-
and say you're right, and I agree with you. It
I
was
think-
not fake.
I think one of
Can
our
I- honestly,
friends.
I want to point out though, the devil's advocate would agree and say that the Holocaust was real because ultimately the devil would have advocated for the Holocaust. So I am glad you took that position as the devil's advocate.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Well, one of our friends is Jewish, and I think he says that his grandpa was in the Holocaust. But our friend that we're talking about is a piece of shit, so you can't really believe that.
Can't
so-
believe anything
I don't know
these
who,
days.
but that's fine. We don't need to name names.
Yeah, he's just Jewish, and he lives in California.
I'm sorry, is my thunder getting too loud for y'all?
California's not in Germany. Yeah, he definitely was not part of the Holocaust. All right, moving on. A Nazi got extradited. Basically, I don't really have much to say about this. I don't know why I brought it up. But basically, a 95-year-old Nazi prison guard, I'm pretty sure,
Makes sense, yeah.
was deported to Germany for being a Nazi. And I think the main thing to note is that he's 95 years old. So I guess if the conversation should be about like, what do we think about prosecuting people, like 70 years after they did something.
I mean-
I don't know.
If it's that intentful, I definitely see that if they were trying to hide from it in the first place, definitely sheds that guilty light that they're not really forthcoming in justice. I mean, it's very hard to when you're in that position and you committed such an atrocity.
I
as
mean,
that.
hold on. So people found out he was a Nazi recently, and people.
No, it's been known that he's a Nazi for a while, is what I was seeing.
Okay. And so then he just like left to go back to Germany, got extradited to Germany. I don't know. I don't really care about this story. It's not interesting to me.
You are not interesting.
He lied on his U.S. immigration papers in 1949 and said that he was actually from Poland.
Yeah.
Makes sense. They do that quite often, I hear.
They stripped his American citizenship in 2003. 2004, they ordered him to be deported. And it finally happened.
So he's been
So-
living here for like 13 years. Just
So, hey, I guess Trump's not a Nazi because he secured his deportation.
Oh,
Just
What do you know?
kidding. Trump is actually just for deporting illegal
Everyone.
immigrants, and he was technically an illegal immigrant. So,
So it took them 13 years to deport him.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
That's the interesting part to
15
me.
years?
That's
No,
the
no,
interesting
you're right.
part to me.
7, yeah,
The 15,
14.
14. That's the interesting part, is how it took 14 years to finally, like, was he just, like, hiding from the government for 14 years, or did they not try for 14 years?
It says in 2004, federal immigration judge ordered that Mr. Palij be deported. but for years American officials failed to persuade any country to accept a man born in what was once Poland and is now Ukraine, and who had served a murderous German regime.
So no one would take
So
him. Was the
basically, yeah,
problem.
they didn't find anyone to like take him.
Even Germany didn't want him?
Not until recently, I guess.
They couldn't get like Mexico or Canada to take him?
Why would lol? Good joke. Sarah Huckabee Sanders said in a statement that the United States will not tolerate those who facilitated Nazi crimes and other human rights violations, and they will not find a safe haven on American soil. That's a funny thing to say, considering he did find safe haven for 70-some years. And like you could argue that's the position of the U.S. going forward, but like how many more Nazis are you gonna find that were alive during the Holocaust?
Yeah, we're pretty much past the age. I'd say if you were looking for them in their prime,
And also, he's like, what, 90 right now? Like...
95.
Like... I really think they should have just put him in a nursing home and just been done with it. Like, is he even all there now? Like,
test lobotomies on him.
Is he even like all there, or is he like a 95-year-old whack job? Like, I can't imagine a 95-year-old like would still be. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I've had my grandmother was 102 before she passed, and she was fully cognizant and
really
cognitive and functioning.
All right. Well, I guess he was still a Nazi.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a Nazi.
Okay. Well.
Bad Nazi.
This was a good topic. I'm glad we talked about Nazis for a little while.
Gotta learn from the past.
All right. Are we moving on?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if I approved the next one. Jeez.
So we had a fourth member. Now we don't. But he is under the understanding that all Great Danes should be euthanized. I hate Thor, so I will agree with that.
Aw, but I love Thor.
That's
Thor, he barks at you every time you come over.
Oh, until he realizes it's me, and then he stops barking until I pet your other dog, and then he starts barking at me again. But then I pet him, and he stops barking.
That's
and I pet the other dog, and he starts barking again.
Yeah.
It's just hard to be able to pet both of them at the same time.
I mean,
really.
if you have two hands,
you never get two similarly sized dogs. It's got to be one giant dog and one tiny dog.
Yeah.
You really do a bad job in getting the ratios.
It's not me, it's my mom.
She really does a bad job in getting the ratios.
She does. I'm sorry we can't find any puppies to foster that are Great Dane sized.
Should be.
I'm sorry, they're just like poodles and shit.
I'm ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll take this time to tell stories about Thor, I guess. So I think the best way to get Thor to want pets is to just go over to the other dog and start saying how good of a boy the other dog is, and then Thor gets extremely jealous.
Yeah.
And like cuts in between you and the other dog.
Yep.
And demands
That's why.
pets.
So like when you enter your house, right?
Yeah.
There's the stairs that go up and also stairs that go down, but there's a railing to the right.
Yeah.
And so the best way to pet the other dog is to let them come to the railing and pet them there.
Yeah.
Because Thor can't fit over there. So.
And he'll like try and poke his head through the railing, but he just can't. The smaller dog we have right now, like he used to like just be able to sneak through the kitchen like gate that we have, like he used to be too small. And now he's too big, but there was a certain point where he was just big enough where his head could fit through, but he couldn't fit his body through, and also he couldn't push his head back in, so he'd try to escape.
He got stuck?
Yeah, he'd just get his head stuck, and he'd start crying, and I'd walk up to him, and I'd be like, oh my god, you really got yourself in a pickle now, stupid dog. But that only lasted a couple, like, maybe a week. It was a good week. Because, like, I wanted to put him in the kitchen and not put him in his cage when I was, like, taking a shower because I didn't want him to shit everywhere. But I wanted to keep him in the kitchen, and he just wouldn't stay. So I brought him down to the basement once, but he, like, left mid-shower. Like, and then he just slept on the floor in the shower when I was showering. But then he left and shat in the big living room and then came back. And that was the last time that happened. But now I can just lock him in the kitchen without any problems.
So on to Bason's Modelo problem.
So I had a friend come over today. And I told him to get me alcoholic waters, but he didn't. But he brought over some Modelos. And I was going to play a prank on him. Like, I put some Rolling Rocks in his Modelo case and took some of his Modelos. So when he's going to reach for the Modelos, he would have gotten Rolling Rocks instead, which are notably not as good.
Of course.
But he decided he was going to leave the Modelos here. So my first problem is the troll didn't happen. And I don't have anywhere to put the Modelos. I did end up finding a place in one of my other fridges. But now I have a bunch of Modelos that apparently he said I can't drink, or else I have to get more Modelos. So
Interesting problem.
I don't know. Like, what do I do with all these
Well,
Modelos?
so here's the thing. That's fair for him to say, but that only can last for a certain amount of time. He can't expect you to hold on to these Modelos forever, right?
Right.
Like a couple weeks after he has you hold on to them, if he doesn't come pick them up, you just start drinking them.
I think I'm getting...
He can't ask for more Modelos. That's his fault for leaving them there.
Yeah. So I think he said he was going to come this weekend. So I'm going to hold them for this weekend. And if he doesn't end up coming this weekend, then I'm just going to drink him and there's nothing he can do about it. Because that's what he gets for leaving his Modelos here. And that's what he gets for saying he's going to come back and doesn't. So hopefully me and him will drink some Modelos in the upcoming days. But if he doesn't, I guess I get a whole case of Modelos. Because he bought like a 12-pack or something and only drank 2. So maybe it was like 24. It's a lot of
You gotta drink more, I guess.
Topic. Yesterday, one of my coworkers asked me if I had ever had a Modelo. And I was like, no. He's like, it's basically a Corona, but stronger. Is that true?
Basic.
Yeah. It's like a Corona, but stronger.
Okay.
We'll believe you for now. I don't.
Worth? Not worth?
I don't know how much they are, but for having someone leave them over at my house, it was very worth.
Yeah.
Because I did have one. Like, I'm gonna drink a few, I'm not gonna have all of them, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, it's a storage fee. The longer he takes to come get them, the more you're allowed to drink. That's just fair.
Yeah.
It's just fair.
I do have my own beer, so it's not like I'm relying on the Modelos, but I'm gonna have, like, probably, like, one a day, I'd say.
That sounds reasonable.
By the time he gets here, there should still be some left.
So the final topic is heart.
Oh, gosh,
Squad
I regret
reacted
this
with
topic.
heart.
I'm glad they'd react with heart.
Lamb, my squad.
So yeah, heart. And I think that'll be it for tonight.
Heart. Yeah.
I love heart.
Any closing statements by our 3 hosts?
Tom?
This is Major Tom from the U.S. Space Force signing off.
Oh, that didn't sound good.
That was my K-bar falling over. I was spinning it around. It's still in the sheath, but like I was spinning it around and then it fell. So
yeah, you need to pick up your. I think I got the trick. You were trying to teach me that one day.
yeah,
The day I wasn't exactly like. I had I wasn't exactly in the position to do anything because of the particular
Alcohol,
thing
yeah,
I
I know.
did. So
It's a
you're
thing that
trying
you
to
did.
teach me a trick with this practice butterfly knife, and I just was not getting it. And I think I learned how to do it, but I'm not
Nice.
sure. So
Practice makes perfect, sir.
yeah,
Snapchat it to me.
I will. I will.
Well, if I had one thing to say,
closing
or a
statement
final
for
thing
your
to say.
talks.
it's been a good ride. Conversations
forward
are
to
great.
To our next podcast where we
Yeah, where we talk about.
discuss how our first podcast almost failed completely.
Yeah, we'll tell the stories from this day another day. We'll reminisce. Yeah.
Most definitely.
So,
Reminisce.
if
Good
it's
way to put it.
so, is that your guys' closing statements? Everything
Yeah.
you wanted to say? All right. Well, this was a good first podcast. We'll see you in the next one. It was a good time. We're glad to have you. For that, this is Lamb Squad signing off. I'll see you around, Lamb Squad. Goodbye.
See you around.
I knew it.
And exit
Kaz?
music.
What are you doing here? The real
I'll
question
just ask
is,
my
what are
girlfriend
you
something
doing in
real
this
quick.
demonic
It'll
chapel?
be good.
Demonic
Do
chapel?
do
This is a
the
club.
Gregorian
My
house.
boyfriend's the DJ.
Gregorian
He spins Gregorian house.